patron saint because our river's named after him and our city takes its name from the river. And you hear those bells? That will be from that church spire right through those trees. That's St. Joseph's Cathedral. That was the first church built in San Antonio after the Battle of the Alamo. It was built by German immigrants in 1868 to have a place to worship in their native language. And that, if you guys will get your cameras ready, directly in front of us, you're going to see the Tower Life building and also the Palacio del Rio here on our left. Now the man-made channel was made back in the early 1960s, and it's concrete bottoms, concrete wing walls, and it's 4 feet deep from start to finish. But as we come out of this in just a little while, we'll be entering into what we know as the horseshoe. This is our Chamber of Commerce building here on the right, and if you'll look up on street level as we get past it, you'll see a beautiful 65-foot sculpture called the Torch of Friendship. It was a gift to San Antonio from Mexico. It shows how our paths run parallel, but sometimes we get a little wonky with each other. But I myself, 23 years in the Army. We celebrate you. San Antonio is known as Military City, USA. We have a deep tie to the military. We have 5 military bases that are here inside the city or inside Bexar County. And I was already committed to turning left before that light came on, so he better be stopping, or we're going to get T-boned. Now, coming up on our left is the Palacio del Rio. In 1965, San Antonio had contracted with a company to build a hotel here in time for the '68 World's Fair. But the fact is, they ended up not doing anything, they went bankrupt. So they hired another company called H.P. Zachary, who in 1967 said, we can build this hotel in less than a year. And they put the furniture, the televisions, the little Bible in the nightstand, everything, and they tractor-trailered them up here, and they stacked those rooms like Lincoln logs with a giant crane. And it ended up in the Guinness World Book of Records. It's the largest structure built in the least amount of time. It took them 202 days, start to finish, to open that hotel. Coming up on our left, that's La Villita. In the early 1700s, this is where Spanish soldiers were actually garrisoned at, and that were assigned to the Alamo. And now it's a thriving artist community. And this is a place where you can, if you got a couple hours on your hands, just walk through the different houses and look at what the different artisans have. It's really quite nice. See the movie Miss Congeniality? There you go. You see the stage on the right? That's where Sandra Bullock actually played the glasses for the talent contest in the movie. And if you look behind the stage, you see those 5 bells. They represent the 5 missions here in San Antonio. And the theater actually holds 800 people. Now we're going to be crossing underneath Rosita's Bridge. This is named for Rosita Fernandez, a pioneer in the Tejano music industry. And she, early in her career, she played a lot at the Arneson. Now we're going to have a lot of people that are going to say hi to us. So how do people in Texas say hi? They say, hey y'all. So if you hear me say 1, 2, 3, we're all going to look over, see, like this young girl right here, see, 1, 2, 3. Hey y'all! Hey y'all! There we are. Everybody likes to wave at the boat. Now you see this sculpture right here to the right? Admission's free to the museum. Now this is a Rosetta type bridge, and it was built by the Old Iron Bridge Company of Berlin, Connecticut. It's been in operation since 1891, but in San Antonio we refer to this as the Romance Bridge, because tradition is that when you go underneath it, you lean in and give your significant other a kiss. That would be about right now. There we go. We got a couple of kisses in. Good. Solamente un beso. This is not the love boat. Okay? And I'm not direct Captain Stubing. Not so. If you know who that is, you really dated yourself. Now to the right, this is Marriage Island. It's a heart-shaped island formed by the roots of this cypress tree. Over 300 weddings a year take place, and that beautiful sculpture that looks like a table on its side, that's for Father Massonet. He performed the first Mass here in 1691. Up in front of the boat, you see that big sandstone sphere sticking up? That's the Bexar County Courthouse, and it has the beautiful green tile roof. It's the oldest operating courthouse in the state of Texas. It's been in operation since 1897. However, since you're all guests here in San Antonio, this is as close to that building as you need to get. Because were you to be provided a private tour, I am almost positive your time in San Antonio will not be remembered pleasantly. Now look to the left and look all the way up. Do you see the gargoyles at the top of the building? Look up there. This is the Tower Life building, but it started its life as the Smith-Young building. It's 450 feet tall. Now look right above the second floor arched windows. You see all those ugly faces looking back at you? Those are called grotesques. That's a neo-Gothic designed building. They opened their $3 million building in 1929, and their superstitiousness didn't work out too well for them because a few months later the stock market crashed. They lost their building and it was sold at public auction for $300,000. And for my history buffs, when he was a young captain assigned here for the second time, President Dwight D. Eisenhower had an right. This building's the International Trade Building. Houses the trade offices of Mexico, Canada, and the United States. And it's also started off as our first garage. So you'll notice that the Park Patrol has boats parked inside there now. Now you see, so Robert Hugman, the guy that I talked about, the father of the Riverwalk, came up with this design. You guys don't realize it, but underneath the downtown area, there are tunnels that water bypasses through, and we're entering into what's called a bypass channel. So directly below that green light, there's a gate that comes from the bottom up, and when it starts raining real hard here, they shut these gates, and since they built them in the 1940s, they have never had another flood back inside what we're coming. And I want you to look to the left. This is, in 1920, this was the City Public Service Building. You see those beautiful chandeliers in there? They mimic the original chandeliers, and the only reason I point this out is because in that flood in 1921, the water was up to those chandeliers down here. That's how high the water got down here. And since he built those floodgates, we've never had another flood down in here. The water stays at a consistent level. Now as we get up past this blue boat in front of us, you're going to look to the right, you're going to see a giant Aztec head made out of cement. That's the back of the Aztec Theater. It was opened in the early 1920s as a silent movie palace. And it's absolutely ornate. And to this day, if you go in, the whole front of the theater and the wing walls are designed to look like an Aztec ruin. It's absolutely opulent and well worth your time going in there. This white brick building that's coming up to my right, in the early 1900s, that was the L. Frank Saddlery. And they actually built all the tack and saddles for the Allied forces in World War I. They had employed over 500 people, and their saddles are collector's items now. The bridge in front of us, this is Selena's bridge. This is where Selena Quintanilla's husband asked her to marry her. And when they made the movie Selena, this is where J-Lo stood right above you and threw her hands up at a boatload of tourists just like us. Only you guys are 20 years too late for that. But if J-Lo was there, I would pull the boat over, and while you guys were getting her autograph, I'd speak 66, and two of his former students bought it and turned it into the hotel that you see today. Now, who likes a good optical illusion? There, good, somebody. Listen, don't look up while we're underneath the Navarro Street Bridge. These pigeons have they're like guided missile cruisers, and they'll target you. But when we come out on the other side of the bridge, I'm going to want you to look to my left and straight up. You're going to see a great optical illusion. But you have to look all the way up. So my people on the left side kind of turn to the left. Now, look left and look straight up. It looks like it's a freestanding wall, and in fact, that's one of the walls of the Mixed Hospital, and up in the 1930s, it was the first full-service hospital in the United States. And these windows right here to our left, that's a parking garage, which in 1930 was pretty heady stuff. But more importantly, it was the first air-conditioned hospital in the United States. And if you've ever been in Texas in July and August, you'll appreciate you some air-conditioned hospital. That's all I'm saying. Now I have people ask me all the time, they go, how many people fall in the river? We don't know, because there's a $500 fine if they catch you. But we do know that the area that we're passing through right now is where most of them do happen, that we know about. And all the Casino Club building. It was built by German immigrants in the San Antonio Club. But if you look above the second floor and see all those green windows, that was the first rental property on the Riverwalk. And its most notable tenant was Alex Haley. He lived in there while he wrote, well, about half of the book Roots. Now, look over to the left. There's the CVS. So now you can't say you don't know. When it's time to buy your padlock, stop on by there. Now, when Robert Hogan finally got the money in the 1940s to build those floodgates, nobody would move down here and nobody wanted to be on ground level down here. So Robert Hugman, if you'll see this white brick building in front of us to the right, Robert Hugman came down here and put his office on the first floor on the bottom of that building. And once he did that, other people started to kind of migrate back down here. And the Architectural Institute of America got that designated as a historic landmark. But you'll see this bronze statue. We're fixing to drive by it here, just in front of the bridge. That's a bust of Robert Hugman looking out on his beloved Riverwalk. And you'll notice that almost all of our bridges have arches, because Robert Hugman envisioned San Antonio being the Venice of Texas. And in 2017, we were nominated as the most romantic city in the United States. Now, coming up on your right, this is the Cafeteria, the oldest restaurant on the Riverwalk, opened in 1946. And it was also the first restaurant to offer boat rides. They used to put gondolas out in front of it, and people would sit on the gondola and they would pull back and forth up in front of the restaurant until they finished their dinner. Now we're going to be taking a left here, and we're going to be going inside the man-made channel again. And I'm going to kind of slow down here. Just a hotel, but they wouldn't let them because there was already a hotel there called the Fairmont. And the Fairmont was on the historic preservation list. So they wouldn't let them tear it down. They said, well, can we move it? They said, okay. So they picked up the hotel, put it on wheeled dollies, used gravel trucks. They drug it 6 blocks in 6 days to where it sits at Alamo and Nueva and still operates at today. Still a historic preservation site. And it ended up in the Guinness World Book of Records as the largest structure ever moved on pneumatic wheels. Now everybody get your cameras ready, because you're going to get the best picture of the Tower of the Americas that you're going to get while you're on the river. It'll be right here to our right, and it's 750 feet tall. You can't miss it. If you miss it, you need to get a vision test. Okay? The Tower of the Americas is the tallest structure in San Antonio, and it always will be. They passed a law that says you can't build anything taller than it. Until they built the Stratosphere in Las Vegas, that was the tallest freestanding structure in North America. 700. I need everybody to look around where you're sitting right now and make sure that everything you brought on this boat you take off with you. Because my first tour a few weeks ago, I had a gentleman left his money clip and his credit card sitting in the front of this boat. And I know that was the longest 5 minutes of his life, and or at least his trip to San Antonio, as he sprinted back to the boat to see if we found it. Now I need everybody to stay seated until I get this boat docked, because it can get real rocky, and I don't want you to trip and fall in someone's lap. Now I hope you've had a good time. If you did, all the people that had a good time will be X'd in here to my right, and all the people that had a bad time, you'll be X'd in here to the left. And I won't throw you a life preserver. And tipping is allowed, it's acceptable, and certainly appreciated on my behalf, because all of the boat captains here work for tips. That's what we do.